हेलो एवरीवन, कैसे हैं आप? आज हम क्या करने वाले हैं? सिंक एंड फ्लोट। हम देखेंगे कि कौन सी चीज़ डूबती है और कौन सी तैरती है। लेट्स गो। सिंक एंड फ्लोटिंग। डाउन करो ना। नेक्स्ट, दिस वन सिंक और फ्लोटिंग? Sink. Next, it's floating. No, sink. नहीं, float. It's floating. Sink. Yes. Next one. जे सिंक करेगा कि फ्लोट? सिंक और फ्लोट? Float. Sink. What is this? Down करो ना. What is this? ये क्या करेगा? Sink और float? I think floating. Float. No, it's float. No, it's float. It's floating कर रहा है. Yes. Next one. It's floating. It's floating. Sink or float? Floating. Another floating. Yes. This is water bottle. Down करो, नीचे दिख नहीं रहा. Yes, but इसमें पानी डाला गया है. ये सिंक करेगी फ्लोट? I think sink. Yes. This one, what is this? Down. What is this?
This is
Wrench. If this one floating.
This is sink.
No, it's floating.
It's floating in a coil ring.
Yes.
Next, this.
Down दिख नहीं रहा. What is this?
Screwdriver.
It's sinking or floating?
Float.
I think sink.
No, it's float.
No, sink.
No, it's float. It's not sink. It's float. ये तो थल्ले पानी गया.
तो ये सिंक हो गया ना?
ये तो float है. ये तो float हो गया. ये तो sink है.
Sink हो गया. Yes, it's sinking. I think what is this? Show me.
This is truck.
Show me. Down करो.
Truck.
Yes, I think
It's truck.
sink or float?
Float.
What?
Sink.
Yes, it's sink.
Next, tiger biscuit.
Down करो, down. What is this?
Tiger biscuit.
This one sink or float? I
It's
think
float.
yes, it's floating.
But it's a sink.
No, it's floating.
Floating. Next, this.
Down करो.
This is road roller.
Not is road, not road roller. It's roti roller.
A dirty roller.
Yes.
It's float.
It's floating. Yes.
Yeah. Number two
What is this?
is Dr. Kit.
Doctor kit.
This is sinking.
No.
It's float.
Yes, it's floating.
And this is mango bottle.
It's Riyan's milk bottle. Sink or float?
Float.
Yes, it's floating.
That's cup.
No, it's
Cup.
I think it's sinking.
I know.
Sink.
I think it's sink.
Sink, yes.
Good one. Number three.
Number 3 is maybe floating.
No, it's
Floating.
floating. Next, this one.
It's also floating.
Let's put in number 3.
It will be floating too. It's a floating.
It's floating, yes. This.
It's blocks.
Blocks. This is
Blocks
sinking
are
and
floating. Blocks are floating.
This one. This is W.
Yes, W is also floating.
This is it's not floating. No, it's not floating. Floating?
It's floating.
Not
It's
there.
floating too.
Not there. That's a floater.
Yes.
This is rubber ducker.
Yes.
It's here.
It's
floating
floating.
again.
Yes.
This aloo.
It's potato.
Potato.
It's sinking.
It's sinking. What's the knife? What leaves? N.
It's a
N.
N is a
It's a make Z. Small Z. N.
N is
This is
N or Z. N or Z.
floating.
Z or N.
N. Floating.
It's floating.
That's it, man. It's mummy pen.
It's sinking.
No. It's
Sing,
floating.
sing.
Next.
It's floating.
No. It's sinking.
Floating.
Floating. Gotcha. This color is
It's
sinking. Also, that's the 96.
I think float.
No, I have
Float.
float also.
Yes.
That's the
It's floating.
this.
It's
Zebra. Maybe it's floater.
Float?
Yes.
Yes, it's float. It's floating.
Sinking.
Sinking, not sinking. Only floating.
Oh, sinking.
No. Next one.
It's floating.
Last one. But
Last
not
one.
least.
Last not. This.
It's
Number 8.
float. It's floating.
Floating. It's G. It's it. Last but not least, this is car.
It's sink.
It's no sink. It's also sink. Look, sink also.
Yes.
Subscribe to channel.